Technically, he played a part in West Ham's Conference League winning campaign last season. Scamacca wasn't actually in the match day party for the win over Fiorentina. So what a turnaround for him, not just in that front, Brian, but just in general, from being sort of, chucked out of West Ham after a big money move to, again, one of those players who found a home in Bergamo and settled in brilliantly.
Yeah, it was difficult for him at West Ham. He didn't start very well, and then he got an injury. He used to play in the midweek conference games and scored some goals during that, but when it came to the Premier League, he looked out of his depth, I'd say, physically and mentally. I'd say he began to struggle once he wasn't scoring goals. Heavy fee around his neck as well, criticism from the supporters. And, I think that going back to Italy was obviously a bit of a comfort zone for him. And going to Atalanta, where there's not quite so much pressure, I think helped him. But it's been, as the season went on, that he found his form again. He's around about the national team for Italy too. But he's been very good. We saw him against Liverpool in that game, played really well, scored a couple of goals. And he sets the tone at times and been the first man on the press. He isn't like he's just waiting on chances and being a sniffer as centre forward. He's one of the front three that are prepared to press the goalkeeper and the build-up players at the back. But he played very well tonight. His hold-up play, linking in with the midfield, was really good. I'm delighted for him because it went so poorly for him at West Ham. He had a bit to do to overcome that.
Mikel Antonio let slip after he left that, he was obviously asked in one of his media appearances why hadn't it worked out for him there, and he said, well, he's a great player, really good player, good lad, but Moyes just likes a striker to work like an absolute dog, do all the running up there on his own, and maybe he obviously didn't fancy that. But obviously he's found a manager that is able to get the best out of him when it didn't work with another manager in a different country.
Yeah, I think as well the Gasperini's rotated the team around a little bit, which has given them that sort of breather. But when you come into the Premier League with a big price tag around your neck, you're expected to do it week in, week out. And I think a lot of players who come to the Premier League find that bit difficult. I think they're obviously all really good players and they can do it now and again, but some of them find the consistency to be tough.
Just a relentless week
every week, and it's like you can play in Serie A and you'll have a couple of tough games, but you might then have a fairly comfortable fixture where the work rate isn't as high. The Premier League is every week, every day sort of thing, so it is a tougher environment to be in. But again, it's just for the players, it's about experience, and he will have learned from what he's done in West Ham. Tonight I thought he was outstanding. He really ruffled the back three of Leverkusen, never gave them a second. He was winning all the balls, he was challenging for everything, and he was everything that Leverkusen missed in that first half. Someone who could hold the ball up, that they could play off, and he gave Atalanta a real foothold in the game.